We've all been there before, sitting there during a PowerPoint presentation that doesn't follow any logical rules and does a lot of different things that either bore you to death or leave you confused with what the message actually was for that lesson. Well, today what we want to look at are specific things you can do to avoid this. And right now, we actually have one of the great distractions. So let's cut the distraction and let's get to the point here. Oftentimes you see things like this: long animations, text with pictures in the background that make it difficult to understand the words, blurry images, too many images, and sometimes not even related to what you're talking about, in pictures that are goofy but don't really help to get your point across. Now imagine that these slides that I just showed you here were designed to tell you about what it is that causes children to have some really unfortunate things in the world, and really that you should be thankful to have, in comparison with a different version here. Now let's pretend that instead, and we're going to skip ahead a slide here, let's pretend that instead you have graphics that really drive your point home much more effectively. Specific statistics that you can look at, very vivid images, things that are going to cause emotion, things that are surprising in nature. Statistics that you can't argue and that are shocking. All of these different images are very, very effective in helping to prove a point. And really what I want you to be thinking about is this: what is it that we need to do whenever we present, both from the design perspective and also the actual day of presentation perspective? And let's look at this. So here we go. You have a checklist that everybody received via email that really looks at 4 different categories: organization, body language, speaking quality, and visuals. That's what we're going to be looking at today with the art of presenting. We'll call this an introductory lesson because that's really all that it is. It's just getting you thinking about the things you need to be looking out for so that you can self-assess your presentations when you're practicing them to see if you're meeting the criteria that you need to meet, beyond just looking at the content rubric. There are a lot of speakers that I look at as being people who are great examples of how to effectively present ideas and get people to join their side. You can think of your own potentially, but here is really the commonality that I've seen with them. They organize effectively. They're effective with their spoken language in delivering the message. Their body language conveys their message, and it's important to understand this piece with body language because that actually does have a significant impact on the message that you get across. And finally, they have positive visuals that support what they're actually trying to accomplish and do not distract or take away from the message that they are delivering. And the key is this: with all of these different things, you're sending messages. Some of the messages are about you and really about your credibility as a speaker, because that's extremely important in this process. And some of them are about the message you're trying to send. We want to make sure that all of your messages are aligned toward a common goal, and with that common goal being to get across the message that you would like. It's important that you have a clear goal to start with. Make sure that you are focused in on something in specific, and make sure that you do recognize that the time that you have is precious and valuable, especially to the people that you are presenting to, so you don't want to waste their time, because nobody likes their time being wasted. Raise your hand if you agree. And if you just raised your hand, there we go. I've got you engaged with this presentation. And always, always, always remember that no matter what it is that you have, whether it's the way in which you use your voice by raising your tone or decreasing it a little bit, or whether it's by the visuals that you have, make sure that you're always supporting and enhancing your presentation, and specifically the clear goal that you set forth at the beginning. Having a clear goal and always working towards it is the key to anything in life. Presenting is just one example. Let's start with the organization here. So nobody likes a maze for a classroom lesson, do you? Maybe they're fun to do on the side because they're challenging, but if you need to understand information, you want to make sure that you get it clearly and quickly. This is the goal that we're really looking for here with a presentation, to get directly to that goal. It's kind of like connecting the dots. You know, we can put the picture there, we give people a strong introduction so they have an idea as to what it is that we're trying to get across, and then we just connect the dots for them so that the picture is very clear, understandable, and it's something that they can follow. That's what an effective presentation does. How does it do this, and how can we organize appropriately? It's like the Cheeseburger Method that's been discussed before for language arts with writing an essay. You have an introduction and a conclusion. In the middle, you have lots of supporting details, and they all link together. The other thing that's extremely important is to transition effectively from one idea to the other. It's kind of like in a house. You know, you figure when you look at a house and you have like a lot of these decorations, one of the common things you see are things that help us to transition between ideas. So like this tree right here, or bush or whatever you would like to call it, is connecting us to the outside. It's transitioning us between rooms. Just like whenever we switch between ideas, we need to have that smooth transition so that we can make sense of things